You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Good morning, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk, Sunday stream of consciousness. It looks like we have connection problems, like right and left here. I'm trying to correct them. Bear with me while I do so. This is the problem. When I share the show before me, we sometimes have problems. Looks like we may be connected now on the Facebook apps. Hopefully everybody is seeing us. I welcome everybody watching today on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. I'm trying to do two things at once here, so bear with me. I still see, if I click on, I still see, God, I hate, well, because I'm live, I don't know what to do here. We're going to have to wait, I guess, until that show ends. That's why I try to end the feed before I leave the room, and they kicked me out before I could do it today. So we'll have to bear with it. Hopefully at 9 o'clock, everybody will pop in that needs to pop in. Actually, you know what? I didn't add that back. Let me add these back. Let me see what happens. We are live on YouTube, and I know we're live on Twitter, so welcome to you guys. Still working on our feeds for Facebook and YouTube. You guys can let me know when you see us. If you would, I'd appreciate that. I want to welcome all the everybody watching everywhere. Roku, I don't know if we're live or not either. We did fix our stream, but I didn't check out to see if we were. See, I'm not connected to Facebook, and I'm not connected to Roku. So we're gonna have a small audience this morning, at least until 9 o'clock, and I apologize for that, guys. So we're gonna go into the draft. Listen, let me thank the groups first. Thank all the groups that allow us to share. John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime, Bottom Line Sports with Flo and the gang, Let's Talk Sports, Ken Krause at Golf Bud Sports of all sorts, and a quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff. He'll be restarting or has restarted the Sports Corner from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday with Smoke and Jim Frazier. DDA thumbs up. We're going to talk lots of stuff here today, guys. And right now, it looks like we're live only on YouTube. I wonder if I can go into, hang on one second. I'm going to try something here. Let's see if we can override some stuff on Facebook. It is my feed after all, right? I should be able to end. So you get to watch the behind the scenes. Can I not just end this? Can I delete it? What can I do? Help me out, guys. What can I do? Got to be some way to freaking get rid of this. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing the note. I'm seeing. Cool. I just did this. How about if I end it? Can I just end it? Move to trash. Sorry about that, guys, but I'm moving you to trash. We'll keep trying, guys. Let me know when you see me. This is great. We're going to talk a lot of football today, a lot of NFL draft. It was a fun day. We knew it wasn't a great draft, but we also, come on. We also said that there would be some intriguing events, and there absolutely were. I mean, it was just a great, I think, great. I'm removing guys as we speak, and then I'm going to put them back in. So we're going to keep trying. You guys bear with me, and we'll see what we make out here. All right. Anyway, Hopefully we're going to go live now. Let's see what we get. Not a great start to the show, and I've apologized, peeps. This is what happens. Now I got nothing going on there. Oh, there we are. Now we're live on my page. All right, cool. See, we managed. I got to stop sharing. I try to be nice. Well, again, I want to share. I want you guys to be able to see some decent content when we have it over there. It looks like we're live on my page now. All right, we'll start over. Welcome, everybody. We're finally live on Facebook. I don't know if we're live on Roku. I did fix my feed, but I'm not sure that Sonia has the schedule correct, because I know that she's been running that the big football show live, and Mac was always replaying that show. I don't necessarily care about live on Roku. I don't know about you guys. I'm okay with a replay because you can't comment there anyway. So it's not a big deal. We'll get into a lot of stuff here today. I'm going to check out the live streams and see if we ever come up live. I'm going to have my giant head if I'm on here, but I'm not. It's the big football show. Anyway, we'll leave that there for now. Yeah, the draft, guys. Intriguing. Lots of winners, very few losers. Shadur's a loser and a winner at the same time, and we'll get into a lot of Shadur talk, I'm sure, today. We'll talk about your teams and what you think. As far as team-wise, I think the Bengals were losers yesterday. I think the Steelers were losers yesterday. The Falcons, the Lions. I know Bistrella wasn't happy when I said I thought the Lions were losers, but that's what it is. Dolphins, I think, were losers, but big winners. Jaguars, Giants. Sorry, I know Mad New Yorker will pop in here and tell me how badly the Giants did. The Giants had a great draft. Both for now, because the coach and the general manager need to save their job, and for later. Offensive linemen had a great draft. Ohio State had a great draft. 14 players picked, 3 in the first round. Robert Saleh, back at the 49ers as a defensive coordinator. Great draft for the 49ers, especially on defense. Tyler Slock, congratulations, first round draft pick. Or did he go in the second round? Sorry, I think he went in the second round. The Browns, I think, were winners, although a strange pick with Dylan Gabriel as early as he went. I had him ranked behind. I'm like 6, 7 among the quarterbacks. Pats, I think, had a good draft. The Eagles had a good draft. The Browns had a good draft. I just said that. And lots of good teams. We can talk a little bit of baseball. We want to say rest in peace to Walt Jocketty. A very, very good front office man for many, many years in baseball, particularly with the Cardinals in the early aughts in teens, and won some World Series there. Rest in peace. Our thoughts and prayers go to his family. Suarez hits 4 home runs yesterday in a loss. Gonsolin will pitch today. Seattle loses another pitcher. Again, we're going to talk a lot of football, so we'll get some baseball in, and I'll go to your comments here in just a second. Just a quick rundown to the NBA and the NHL. Golden State leads the Rockets 2-1. They'll play. I don't think they play today. Minnesota leads the Lakers 2-1. They'll play today. Denver is tied with the Clippers 2-2. OKC has wrapped up their series with Memphis already 4-0. Cleveland 3-0 over the Heat. Killed them yesterday. Worst playoff loss in history for the Heat. Celtics 2-1, a surprising loss to the Magic the other night. They'll wrap this up soon. They play today. The Knicks with a nice win in Detroit the other night. Finally, the offense didn't look like Carmelo Anthony was standing there like a black hole. Brunson got the ball moved around the court, and the Knicks did much better. Nice win for them. They play at 1 today, and the Pacers lead the Bucks 2-1. We'll talk some hockey too. Some good series going on there. Lots of 2-1s and 2-2s, and we can get into that. CA's Dallas Stars have tied that series up at 2. So hopefully everybody's with us that can be with us. Richard! How you doing, Rick? Watch Warriors last night, and Curry gets all the attention, but Green is an undersized big man that makes them go. Draymond Green is not nearly the player that he was when the Warriors were winning all their championships, but he is still an important cog on that team. And I will tell you also, that Jimmy Butler, and nobody may like the way he got himself to Golden State. I don't like it. He's maybe out for the playoffs. I don't know how long he's going to be out. But he has been an important cog and important addition to this team. I like what the Warriors can do. I picked them to be a sleeper out west and maybe face OKC in the final if that was possible. I'd have to look at the bracket to know for sure. But good morning, Richard. There's Alan. Hope you're feeling better, Alan. Not sure what your schedule looks like. I know you were probably looking at some surgery for some issues with your back, and we do send our thoughts and prayers to you and hope you're doing better. You're too young to have those problems, man. Would be nice if they didn't talk about one guy more than half the draft. Well, again, that's what happens when you get a guy that slides. And nobody, this is something that's never happened. We've had guys slide in the draft, right? Marino, Rodgers, Brady, Quinn, tons of guys have slid in the draft. But to the bottom of the first round, early in the second round, maybe even to the third round with a couple of guys who were iffy. But nobody talked about Shador. People talked about Shador like he was going to be a top 5 pick. He's not a first-round draft pick. He can be an NFL quarterback. He could develop into an NFL quarterback. I think this is fine. Listen, I know when he got picked, I've never seen, a fifth-round pick talked about for 15 minutes. And it was interesting seeing Mel Kiper's head about to explode several times when I did switch to ABC or from ABC to ESPN. And yesterday, ABC had the same ESPN feed. So Mel Kiper was about to stroke out on the set. I think there's a lot of things at play here, and I'll get more into my thoughts on Shador in a second. But this is what happens. And this is a very limited, talent-wise draft. They need something to talk about. The Shador slide helped them and will help them rating-wise, and that's why you're hearing them talked about. It's no different in golf. When Tiger Woods plays and he's not even relevant, we have to talk about him all day. Giants get a running back late that will add toughness. Well, if you're talking about Scadaboo, they actually got him in the 4th round, which I don't think, he probably went a little later than thought. I mean, myself, late, I look at like 5, 6, and 7, I guess, Rick, but I think he's a great pick. He's a nice, I think he'll be a nice addition to that backfield with Taylor. And listen, if they get any kind of quarterback play, Danny Fuller's going to rip me. The team's going to be better. I didn't think they had a great draft. I think trading up for trading back into the first round, which I said they would. I knew it wouldn't be for Sanders. I didn't want to commit to Jackson Dart because I thought it might be Slock. But great job by the Giants. Tremendous job, for sure. Was worried you were, I don't know what, I think because I was on, what happens on Facebook, I have found that I have to, I was actually on time or 30 seconds later, whatever, Drew, but the Facebook feeds didn't come on right away because I was still sharing the big Sunday show. That's the problem. If I don't stop sharing before I leave that studio, well, now I know I can cancel it on my Facebook page, so it's not a big deal. But anyway, we're here and we're happy. What's more impressive, that Suarez hit 4 home runs or that the Rays won despite that? Oh, the 4 home runs. It's only been done 19 times in history. That's one of the great achievements in baseball, by the way. We'll get some baseball talk in here early because I guarantee we're going to have a lot of football talk. Just you're going to have to lead any baseball talk today, Drew, I'm sure. But that listen, 19 times. That's more, no hitters and cycles are more prevalent than 4 home runs in a game. So good for him. Paul Spada, good morning, good morning, good morning. A very nice draft for our Patriots yesterday, Paul Spada. I like a lot what they did. They did some weird stuff in the 7th round in trading. I think because they wanted a guy that they knew nobody else was going to take. They traded back to the Mr. Irrelevant spot, got Kobe Minor in that spot. Patriots checked every box they needed yesterday. They needed to protect the quarterback. They got one of the top offensive tackles in the draft. And you can talk about his short arms all you want. He's got great agility. He's got great footwork. He's strong. He's smart. He's going to be a great player in this league. They got the best center in the league in the third round with the 95th pick, Jared Wilson out of Georgia. Best center in the draft. They got Marcus Bryant later on out of Missouri. So again, reinforcements. I've already brought in some free agents to protect the quarterback. Once you protect him, you need some weapons. Travion Henderson is going to be a great weapon. He catches the ball. I did like Harvey a little bit. They're the same player, R.J. Harvey out of Central Florida, but they're the same player basically. I think Travion Henderson, having played against theoretically better talent through his career, I think will bode well for him. He's gonna be a very good threat out of the backfield and also carry the ball. Him and Stevenson are going to be a very good combination. Kyle Williams, very underrated wide receiver. They needed some height. They needed some athleticism at the wide receiver spot. They get it. They needed some safety help. They get Craig Woodson out of Cal. They needed an edge and some versatility. They want an edge rusher with some versatility, a guy that can move around like Millie McGinnis and Collins, and I think of some guys in the past. I think, and I know James Martin is very high on Braden Swinson. Great versatility. They get a kicker, and then they did draft a long snapper in round 7, which you don't often see. Durant steals home. That's not as it doesn't compare with 4 home runs in a game. Hello, there's a hi to Alan. We hope Alan's doing well. Paul Spada. Well, I hate him now. He's a Giant, so he's dead to me. I shouldn't say that. I picked him to make the playoffs last year. Scatto is a fun player. I mean, he's limited athletically. We're going to see what he can do against NFL, defenses. The league's a little bit different when the Nottinghams and Norm Bulash, which are similar type players to Scatterbo. Build-wise, I'm only talking about. He's a talented player. I'm not sure how it's going to translate. That's why he fell to the 4th round. But I think a value pick for the Giants at that spot. Again, a great job for them. Ron Panetta, how are you? Good to see you with us today. Indy got lucky. Let me pull up Indy's draft here. Indy was in a tough spot. They couldn't take a quarterback which they need at one, because it would have created a mess. They did take Riley Leonard late 6th round. They did a great job getting Ty Warren. Again, I don't know why I want to call him Ty and not Tyler, but I'm going to continue to do that. Ron, the Colts, I think Loveland, he should have been a 1st-round pick, I think. Warren, without a doubt, should have been the first pick, the tight end off the draft, or off the board. And I thought the Jets probably would have done well to take him. Membo's a safe pick for the Jets. I think they'd been better off for their quarterback and for their offense in general to pick Warren. So I think that the Colts did a great job there, and whoever their quarterback ends up being, which I think will be Daniel Jones, by the way, great job there. I like their pick of Tiamolo, the edge out of Ohio State. Nice job there. Riley Leonard, again, will he play in this league? I don't know, but you get him in the 6th round, so you take a flyer, which a lot of teams did here. I like this isn't a bad draft, I don't think, for the Colts overall. Probably a solid B. Good morning to JB. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. The center was a great pick. I was surprised he was still there, quite frankly, with the way the offensive lineman went. And there were so few centers in this draft. And they had to replace David Andrews, who was probably their best offensive lineman, despite his age and the wear and tear the last couple of years, too. Last tie to the Super Bowl era teams on that offensive line. And it's time to start over. They made a couple of good acquisitions in free agency. Now they bring in a couple of guys that I think will contribute right away, or they need to, for this team to really make progress. I'm not telling you this team will make the playoffs. I'm telling you this team will be greatly improved this year, and I see light for the first time. I'm excited. I wasn't even excited last year with Drake May being a number one pick. I wasn't excited like I am now. I see weapons everywhere. I got Stephon Diggs, who, by the way, I know he's getting older. He was injured last year, but Stephon Diggs has always performed well in his first year wherever he goes. Now they've got a big athletic a wide receiver to play on the other side, plus some other pieces who will be much better, right? Kendrick Bourne will be much better not having to be a focal point of the offense, but a important cog that you put certain plays in, certain packages in for. And the rest of those wide receivers the same way. I was really hoping undrafted they might actually get Respecco from Miami. He didn't get drafted. Very slow, but great hands, great route runner. He would remind you a bit of Edelman, probably more like Braxton Berrios, who had 15 minutes of fame in New York and flamed out in New England, but he did sign with the Titans yesterday and reunited with Cam Ward. I didn't say it wasn't important. First of all, they have a very good long snapper already. And I'm a little surprised. You don't see long snappers drafted. You get them as undrafted free agents. So I am laughing. Their whole seventh round, I thought Bill Belichick had suddenly jumped back into the draft room, quite frankly. Listen, and look at some of those guys might pan out. It was just weird the way they're trading all over the place. It looked like typical New England banter. We had a good draft overall. Not getting excited about a long snapper. I love the kicker. I love the kicker from Miami. He was very accurate. But again, college kickers don't always translate on the NFL level, and we've seen that in New England, right and left. I was looking for oh boy. Cardona. I couldn't remember his name, our long snapper. He's really good. And I don't know that last year's place kicker, who I cannot remember, that big kid, he was a giant. He looked like an offensive lineman. I believe he's gone. And they have the best kicker, by the way, in the punter in the league, in Behringer, not Jim Behringer. Hopefully this year will be the year that Bryce Behringer is not the Patriots MVP. That would be a good thing. Well, again, they got to hit on the right guys, but you're absolutely right. Every team, not every team. There's some good offensive lines out there, but half the league is looking for front line help. And by the way, it's not just the 5 starters. This is the one thing that is a byproduct of quarterbacks and wide receivers making, $60 million a year for quarterbacks, $40 and $50 million a year for wide receivers. You don't have depth. A couple of guys go out on your offensive line, and you could have a strong offensive line. Suddenly you do not. I think, and you saw, I think 10 offensive linemen maybe go in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. 3 offensive tackles in the top 10. I think they'll all be very good players. So Ron Panetta agrees. Got to get a quarterback, though, dude. I think Jones will be better. And again, maybe it's just me trying to defend my own defense of Daniel Jones through the years. I think Daniel Jones, and this fresh start for him, he's not going to have the type of media scrutiny that everybody does in the NFL, right? But not like he has in New York. I think this will be a chance for Daniel Jones. I don't know whether he'll thrive or not, but a good spot for Daniel Jones. Birthdays today. Let's see how I do. I've been doing pretty good here. Corey Seager, very easy, playing already. JD Davis, we know his limited career with the Mets and the Giants and some others. Chris Carpenter, a very good pitcher in his time. Pedro Feliz, a guy who played with the Giants and probably some others, played multiple positions. Frank Cantelanato, Cubs, Rangers, outfielder, nice bench player. Willie Upshaw, original Toronto Blue Jay, former Yankee farmhand, I believe. Enos Slaughter, Cardinal great, Hall of Famer. Rogers Hornsby, another Cardinal great. Fun names: Frank Worm, Buddy Amore, Judd Sasenga, and Frenchie U-Haul. Yeah, I did. That one wasn't that hard. Pats did get this year's Mr. Irrelevant. Forgot his name already. Miles what? I'll find him. Hold on. Interesting where the quarterbacks went too. I want to talk about the quarterbacks a little bit. Was it? Wasn't Miles Bryant? Who was the last pick? My God, here it is. Kobe Minor. Jeez, my God, quarterback out of Memphis. And the interesting part was they traded to get it, Drew. They didn't have it. They traded. They made a bunch of trades. They had 7 picks. I'm sorry. When the day started yesterday, they had 5 third-round picks. They ended up with 3 seventh-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks. They moved up and gave up picks, some of those fifth-round picks. They moved up for a second time in the every time I look, they're up and they move back, and they were 84, then they were 95. They did take Jared Wilson at 95. I think Mike Vrabel and Will's first draft was very good. Check out the special on Jack Beck. Jack Beck. I will do that. By the way, very sad story draft-wise. A poignant. It's just sad. Because it's part of life. It's sad. But kind of poignant in my mind. Their first round pick, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. His mother was terminally ill, as they talked about on the first round, and she passed away. They told her, I don't know who, the family had told her that. Had told her, let's see, I'm trying to see if I'm going to go on here at 9:00 on Roku. I got to talk to Sonia. It doesn't matter. I just don't have a time slot to put this except midnight. So anyway, where was I? Harmon. Yeah, the family went to tell his mom that he'd been drafted in the first round by Pittsburgh, and she was on life support, I believe. So whether they terminated her or not, I don't know, but she did pass away that night. So very sad story. Our thoughts and prayers to the family, and there's always some story like this. Cardinals went all in on defense, as did the 49ers, by the way. 49ers had a really good draft. Drew wants to look at the Cardinals. Let's take a quick look, and we'll jump around from these teams. I want to talk about the quarterbacks in a second. Interesting, nobody wants to talk about Shedeur. I have my thoughts about Shedeur, and we will get into it, whether you guys do or not. So be forewarned. I have my thoughts. I think Shedeur ends up being a winner in this whole thing, quite frankly. But I do think there was a message sent for sure. So we'll be talking about that in a second. Let me pull up Arizona. I'm a little surprised too. I'll talk about this in a second. Walter Nolan, great pick. Will Johnson, by the way, Will Johnson was projected in the top 10 most of this. With the Shedeur talk, not a lot of talk about Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, maybe the best cornerback in the draft, falling to 47. Great value pick for the Cardinals there. Birch is a nice player out of Oregon. Oregon had what they have, I think 8 guys go yesterday. No, I can't read. 10 go from Oregon. OSU had 14, Georgia 12, Texas 12, Oregon, I think that's Oregon, 10. Ole Miss had 8, LSU had 7, Bama 7, Florida 7. Maybe that program is on the way back. I like what they did here. You're right. And now all 100% defense, and that's their problem. They've got plenty of weapons on offense. Harrison's going to come back and be a nice player, I think, on offense. And Kyler Murray's, I think, starting to get it together. San Francisco, I mentioned, they did take Jordan Watkins and Jordan James at wide receiver and running back. They did take Curtis Rourke at quarterback, interestingly enough, at 227. They got to protect. I don't think he's going to be an NFL prospect necessarily, but they got to protect against Purdy. Are they going to pay Purdy? Interesting question. But they had a lot of picks, and they went with a lot of defense, including Mikel Williams at number 1, edge out of Georgia at 11. Great pick. Alfred Collins is a great pick. Nick Martin. And the Eagles did a great job. Eagles always find talent at the back of this draft. I mean, they find guys who fall because of injuries, and then they coach them up. They get them healthy. And that's why the Eagles are great defensively year after year and have themselves in a position, and in last year's case, winning the Super Bowl. So listen, not a bad way to go. Jahad Campbell is a top 10 talent. You get him at 31 because he had a shoulder injury last year. It's where Kyle McCord from Syracuse ended up, by the way. Speaking of birthday, where's Chrissy? I don't know. Chris pops in and out now. I think Chris has got a new job and new responsibilities or something that keeps him away here and there. We may see him pop in at some point. Chris is a valued. We've had several new guys that come in. And listen, you guys have been with me forever. Don't take any offense here. This is only meant to, because you guys are the foundation. Hey, we're live now on Roku. Look at that. I don't care if we get the first half hour. It doesn't matter to me. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. In the last year, we've acquired some really good people that have started to pop into the show. Paul, yourself, Danny Fuller, Chris F. Grave, William Akins, who comes in. We just had I lost my train of thought. So Ron Panetta comes into the show from time to time. So lots of new contributors. We're up to 2,500 followers. I mean, it'd be great if we could get more guys in. We get about, again, between 1,200 and 2,000 views a show. Once we share this, we'll have 100-ish by the time we get done, usually during the course of the live show, and then we share it elsewhere. Plus, there's a lot of days where, at one time we'll have, 20 or 30 people in here from all the different streams. So you guys have done a great job of helping me build this. We got how many people? 13 on X right now. It's weird. That's good. So anyway, don't know where Chris is, but I want to thank all you guys for helping me out. Enos and Rogers played high school with Jack. Enos Slaughter did, for sure. Looks a little like Jack, actually, now. When he was 25. Ravens drafted a replacement for Justin Tucker. We talked about this a little bit. I want to get to Baltimore here and get that pick. I want to look at their draft besides. We talked about this. I said I don't think there's any way Justin Tucker is a Baltimore Raven next year. I have to be consistent. Now it's only 6 allegations, not 60. If you understand a comparison, but it's not one either. Justin Tucker is a Hall of Famer, was a Hall of Famer, at least. It's going to be interesting. And kickers are always problematic coming out of college and coming into the pros. Patriots know this very well if they failed miserably with Ryland here a few years ago, who's now kicking fairly well for the Chargers or Cardinals. I can't remember which he's on. Didn't have a bad year last year. But the Ravens drafted Tyler Loop out of Arizona. I can't see any way that Tucker can be on this team next year unless this all goes away. I have to be consistent. He shouldn't be if these allegations are true. And when you get 6, if you get 1, I can say if somebody with an axe to grind, it's somebody trying to get a payday. 6 or 60. Panthers had a really good draft yesterday, by the way. Etienne is a really good running back, by the way. You can never have too many running backs. I'm not a big fan of the guys you mentioned here. I think Etienne theoretically will be an upgrade over all of those guys. I'm going to look at the Carolina draft. Before I left, I wanted to make sure I gave because Sonia gets a lot of grief, and probably rightfully so, because of the Carolina Panthers. Panthers did a great job yesterday. They get a top shelf wide receiver to go with Leggett in McMillan out of Arizona. Can go up and get the ball. He's a Mike Evans type player. He's really good. Now he's got a ways to go to be Mike Evans, and he's got to show that he can play. I like their pick out of A&M on the edge. I like 2 edge players back to back to improve that defense. I like Etienne because, again, I think he will potentially be an upgrade over all 3 of the guys that you mentioned. And they got a tight end who I like a little bit in the 5th round, plus some other guys. You got Jimmy Horn, by the way. Jimmy Horn, who caught 100+ balls at Colorado last year with Travis Hunter on the other side of the line, catching even more. So very underrated and maybe a steal at that wide receiver position at number 208. But listen, you get to a point where you get 4th round, you take the best player available, and he's probably the best player available there. Just like Shador. I mean, just get in the league. Kemet, by the way, they needed an upgrade over Kemet. Loveland is a really good tight end. I would have taken Ty Warren. There was 3 pretty good tight ends at the top, near the top of this draft. Loveland, Warren would be first in my mind. He could do a lot of things. I thought the Jets would have done well to pick him, but again, they needed offensive line help. That's fine. But Warren going after Loveland is a bit crazy in my mind. The Bears would have been better off with him. Loveland's a fine player. Don't get me wrong. And I do think, again, just me, in my opinion, they're not picking a tight end at number 10 if they think Kemet is, going to be a Hall of Famer. It's just not, that's not how it works. Plus, by the way, don't forget, a lot of these teams, and I'm not sure about Ben Johnson. I got to look into what Ben Johnson likes to do. A lot of teams play 2 tight ends all the time. If you remember, the Patriots, during one of their great runs, had 2 great tight ends. It's unfortunate one of them turned out to be a serial killer. But, and just so you know, he is a serial killer. I've heard him described as a mass murderer. That's not correct. These things are a very fine line. I get it. But mass murderers kill people all at once. Serial killers kill them over time. Anyway, 2 tight ends is not a bad thing. If Kemet I don't know what Kemet's numbers were last year. But I think Loveland is probably an upgrade. But again, I think they took the wrong tight end. And the other guy that was really good, and the Patriots weren't really in a position to do this because they do have Hunter Henry. But I like, and Josh McDaniel loves to use the 2 tight ends. I thought they might take Arroyo out of Miami. Great pick by Seattle getting him. He's going to be a big help for Sam Darnold. And also, I thought Seattle did a great job getting Milroe. Where did they get Milroe? The 4th round? Where's my 3rd round? That was a good pick. They're really only committed to Darnold for 1 year. When you look at the contract, monetarily, they're on the hook for 1 year, really. It'll cost them some money to get out of that if it doesn't work out. But I think Milroe has the tools to be an NFL quarterback. I would have put Milroe probably 2nd in this draft. I like Slock. I don't know how this comes out to be Slock, but it is. I checked it again this morning. I like Jackson Dart. He's a project, though. Slock has injury issues, and he's 26 years old. I probably would have taken Milroe. One of the biggest shocker for me was that Dylan Gabriel was the 4th quarterback off the chart. And you only had two quarterbacks taken like in the first 75 picks. That might be a record. Will Howard goes in the 6th round. Kyle McCord goes in the 6th round. I thought they might go, at least McCord I thought could go as high as 4. There's no way Dylan Gabriel should be picked over Kyle McCord, or probably Will Howard, quite frankly. Will Howard could be a sleeper here. It probably signals, and it not 100%, because Kirk Cousins I thought would get traded yesterday. Kirk Cousins is going to get moved. And if I'm Pittsburgh and I need a gap quarterback, a bridge quarterback, it's going to be Kirk Cousins. It's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. Although for entertainment purposes, I would appreciate seeing that. Brown stocking up. I think there's 5, Drew, if I'm not mistaken. They have Pickett. Oh, if you count the massage molester. Do I have that right this time, Drew? If you count the massage molester, because I don't mention his name, that's 1. Flacco's 2. Pickett. And the 2 guys, Gabriel and Shador. Now, that's a great landing spot for Shador. He's got a chance to win that job. I have never said Shador Sanders will never be able to play in this league. I didn't think he's first-round talent. James and Jack disagree with me this morning. He's not a bad football player. He had a fine college career. That doesn't always translate to the NFL, obviously. I think he's a project. I don't think he's ready to play today. He is accurate on long throws. The ball comes out wobbly on short throws for some reason. His pocket presence is a little shaky. He doesn't run the ball well, and we know teams like guys that can have some mobility. Jackson Dart. That's why the Giants like Jackson Dart. Daboll likes guys with mobility. Now, Daboll may not be there when Dart plays. But Shador Sanders doesn't end up in a bad spot. Did he lose millions of dollars yesterday? Yeah, it was probably close to $40 million he lost yesterday. But if he turns out and wins, again, get in the league. If you just get in the league, go win a job, you'll make your money. And I think the NFL was sending a message. And again, we get wrapped up in Sanders, the brand, right? I think this was a message sent to all these entitled college quarterbacks, wide receivers. They made him, and they let themselves do this. They made themselves a poster boy for saying, you want to come in here with your elite attitude? your entitled attitude because you're hot stuff because you got paid millions of dollars in NIL money. And by the way, on the flip side of this, I don't know whether Shedor's character is good, bad, or indifferent. I worry about him because he's played for nobody but his father at a high level. I worry about his father intruding. By the way, they don't have any leverage, right? You know, they don't have the Manning. You know, a lot of people talked about it. This isn't a race thing, so stop talking about that. It's not. I heard him compared to Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick couldn't play. That's why Colin Kaepernick isn't in the league. He's 38 years old now. He's not coming back. But these guys who are assassinating his character, I can sit here and I'll assassinate his character if I think I need to. And my name is right there. Watch. I'll show you. There's my name. Put your name to your comments. You want to assassinate people's character? It's one thing to be I don't even like you being anonymous talking about his football skills. But all these guys who come out and talk about the horrendous interviews, either say no comment or put your name to your words. Cowards. Now, I don't have million-dollar contracts to protect. Shouldn't matter. If you have the courage or your convictions, you will put your name to your words and then walk the walk. Sure ends up in a good spot here. He could win this job with a little bit of improvement. Although, and I didn't notice this, it was brought up on the big football show today that the Cleveland War Room did not look overly excited when the pick was made. I get it. I don't understand the Dylan Gabriel pick, quite frankly. I don't get it. I had every guy here, every guy that got drafted, except for Cam Miller out of North Dakota State. I had every guy ahead of Dylan Gabriel. I had Sanders ahead of Gabriel, McCord ahead of Gabriel, Howard ahead of Gabriel, Leonard ahead of Gabriel, Graham Mertz. Interesting pick for the Texans. Nice backup quarterback. I even had Curtis Rourke ahead of him. I had Quinn Ewers, who was the last quarterback taken yesterday, ahead of him. Quinn Ewers also ends up in a pretty good spot. If he's better than Zach Wilson, which he might be, health is the biggest thing for Cam Ewers. Inconsistency. I mean, even within games and drives, he looks like a superstar one drive, and then he makes stupid decisions the next drive. But also health. He played through a lot of injuries, and he missed games with injuries. But he ends up in a pretty good spot because if he's better than Zach Wilson, you know Tua is going to get hurt. There's Chris F. Grave. This will wake up my tongue. Thank you. That's what I need. Happy birthday to former Toronto Maple Leaf. Mike, tell me how I do here. Well, Drew, you won't know this one either, will you? You tell me how I do, Chris. Krushelinski. Doesn't look, I'm just going to say it the way it looks. He's your age today. He's 39 years old, eh? Nice. Happy 39th birthday to Mike. There's our boy, Neil Bush. How are you, Neil? Good to see you. Neil's a Cowboy fan, I believe, right? Let's pull up the Cowboys. I think I like the Cowboys draft, if I remember. There's just so much going on. I got to go back and I got to look. So bear with me while I find the Cowboys draft. A lot of scrolling up and down the page today. Cowboys. Listen. I like the first two picks for the Cowboys a lot. I like Booker. Good job. You got to protect your quarterback. Drew mentioned it earlier. A lot of teams are starting to see that. This kid who also, I can't say his name, Donovan Ezerakua. Probably not close. The edge out of Boston College, very underrated. Saw him play a few times last year. He's a very good player. I think Siobhan Ravel out of East Carolina is probably a safe pick there. Jaden Blue, they couldn't get one of the top running backs. I thought they might go for Hampton out of North Carolina, but it was probably too early where they picked in the first round. You did see 3 of them go in the second round. I think they would have been in position for I'm not sure, Neil, for RJ Harvey out of UCF, who I like a lot. I think him and Travion Henderson are very similar players, and a lot of Patriot fans were screaming for Harvey, who I like, but I think with Henderson on the board, he was a smart pick. For the Cowboys, again, love those first 2 picks. I like the first 3 picks, actually. I'm looking for some value. I try to look for some value down at the bottom. I do like Jay Tola from UCLA, the defensive tackle. Listen, Drew talked about this in one regard, the offensive line. Teams know, good coaches know, winning organizations know. The Eagles know this better than anybody. You win in the trenches. Defensive linemen, offensive linemen. You saw a lot of it. And edge players, because you need a guy to disrupt that backfield. That's what the Giants are going to be already. If their offense doesn't improve at all, they'll still win more games than last year because Carter's going to be that disruptor of the backfield. Thibodeau's going to be a much better player now with Carter on the other side here too. So a lot of interesting. Again, not a talented draft, but a lot. I mean, all of these players. That's why you saw so many. I think that's why you saw so many trades. You saw maybe guys go before we thought they would, but all these guys, after you get past the first couple guys, and by the way, Cam Ward's not. I love Cam Ward. I love him to death. I'm a Hurricane fan, and I love him. Great college quarterback. He's got his faults. He's going to struggle out of the gate in the NFL. He could be a franchise quarterback, but I don't think he's the number 1 pick in the draft. Hunter and Carter are the only 2 sure things to be Hall of Famers in my mind out of this draft. And that may not happen. That's just me. But there'll be other guys that will step up that we're not thinking about because Tom Brady was picked 199th. Let's not forget. But overall, not a lot of star power here, but very intriguing. I was riveted for 3 days, basically. I tried to play some golf in the rain yesterday, and I had this on my phone. Anyway, Neil, I didn't even read your comment. Cowboys picked. Oh, maybe you're not you're talking about White Pine. So are you? I thought you were a Cowboy fan. Maybe you're not. So anyway, they picked Cornelius, who is from Stepanak High School in White Plains, New York, same school that turned out R.J. Davis. Hoping local kids succeeds. Nice. I don't know, Neil. I thought you were a Cowboy fan. I got all excited. Hello, Michael Gott. Again, to remind you guys of the reach of the show, Michael is our, at the moment, and probably historically now, Michael, you have moved to the top of our number 1 fans in the UK. And we appreciate that. We've still got other fans. We don't see as much of them lately. We do hope they're doing well, but Michael has become the most consistent contributor from across the pond, and we do appreciate him coming on. Plus, he's got a pretty good take on U.S. sports. We're going to start putting tariffs on our sports exports, by the way. That's a joke. Keith, do you like the present draft format, going to different NFL cities? One thing to come out of the draft for the UK. Oh, you should see Travis Hunter at the London games. So Cleveland? I'm sorry, Jaguars are expected to go to. The schedule doesn't come out until the 15th. That will be a whole production too. I do like the format. Michael, I like the format of them going around different cities. I mean, you don't have to go back that many years. I mean, and they were sitting in a smoke-filled room with just the teams and telephones and place cards. Well, I guess you got to go back more years than I'd like to think. But no, I do like it. The NFL, if the NFL does one thing great, and I got to touch on something too, as far as Shador goes before the show's over too, I just happened to think about. The NFL, there was an article that Sonia posted in our a group chat I have with the National Streaming Sports peeps, and again, she wasn't necessarily agreeing with it. She just posted it, and it was that the NFL's in trouble. and Dion knows it, and the Sanders brand. The NFL needs the Sanders brand. They don't need the Sanders brand. If he hadn't gotten drafted, this guy wrote this article, and again, I'm not saying Sonia was agreeing with it. They would go the USFL or the UFL or one of those ridiculous leagues that suck, and they would challenge the NFL for supremacy. And I don't think so. I mean, Jack this morning made a comment that they'd get ratings. They get ratings for about 2 weeks. There's nobody at those games. They're not going to go see Shedeur Sanders. Now, Travis Hunter was with him and some other stars. The original USFL had a chance because they had real stars, multiple stars on most of the teams. This guy, the article is kind of long. I would read it to you. And again, I want Sonia. If Sonia, you're listening, I'm certainly not knocking you. You just shared some information. Ball is already 25, carving out a career in Phoenix with the Suns. That's Manu Bol. Is it Bol or Ball Bol? I think that's Manu Bol's son, if I'm not mistaken. Cowboys drafted a couple of running backs, hoping to fix that consistent hole. Pretty deep. It was a deep draft for running backs, and I was talking with James Martin last night about the Saints draft, which I liked a lot as well. They got Neal, who he fell to like the 6th or 7th round out of Kansas. He's a great steal at that point, great value pick. And James pointed out he ran a 4.6 40. It really is one of the most overrated things in football. What guy's running the 40-yard dash? It's irrelevant. Football speed and quickness, burst, much more important than that what you run over 40 yards. Neal will be a contributor for the Saints. The Cowboys, a Jaden Blue out of Texas, I like a lot. I think he will be a contributor. And a kid from Clemson, I'm not sold on. Mafa, we'll see. Mafa, whatever you say his name. There's our boy James. Kyle McCord is underrated and likely a second-string quarterback. A good spot for Kyle McCord, by the way. Here's what I predict for Kyle McCord. He's going to be the backup for Jalen Hurts for a couple, 3 years. Jalen Hurts will get hurt. He'll have a nice 3-game stretch, Kyle McCord, and he'll get a huge contract somewhere. And then we'll hope he's not Flynn or one of those guys who flames out after he gets his big quarterback. I like Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord's got a lot of great attributes that make up NFL quarterbacks. He's got a really quick release. If you haven't seen this guy play in person, I watched him up close against Miami, and he tore them up. Wasn't a good defense. But his release is so quick. Sometimes he tries to force the ball. He's got good size. He can run the ball a little bit. It's a good pickup for the Eagles, and I do think he will end up being the backup quarterback there. And I think have an outside shot at being a starter in this league at one point. I would have had McCord ahead of where's my other list? Let's see. I would have had McCord ahead of. I guess not Sanders. Again, you're going to rip me if I do that. James, definitely ahead of Gabriel, ahead of Howard, ahead of Riley. He probably got drafted about where he should. I'm surprised it was 6th round, right? I mean, first 3 rounds, you only had 5 quarterbacks drafted. Shocking. Drew had discounted the massage molester since they obviously want to replace him ASAP. I mean, even the owners said it was a mistake to sign him. They blew up the whole quarterback market for a guy who shouldn't even be in the league. I'm out of coffee. My wife's not here. I got nobody to grab me a coffee. Got to go an hour. You call Uber Eats. There's our boy, Danny Fuller. Tell me about your Rams. I want to know about your Rams draft before we go today. Sanders is in the league, Cleveland of all teams who took 2 quarterbacks, message sent. He's in the league, which is what matters. Now you have to prove you can play. Here's the thing. We get wrapped up in first-round picks, and I get it. You get paid a lot more money. You get a lot more money from like the second pick to 17 is about $20 million or more. If I remember right, the difference between the first and second round pick in guaranteed money over the first 5 years. And by the way, getting picked where you get picked, he also loses a year where he's locked into this rookie contract. Now he loses a lot of money in the 4 years, unless they re-sign him early, which probably won't happen. But we put so much stock in whether you're a first round pick or a 4th round pick or 5th round pick. If you get in the league and you can play, you're going to play. It doesn't matter. Look at Brock Purdy. Nobody thought he was going to be in the league. If Shedeur Sanders can get in the league and improve the things that he needs to improve on, pocket presence is a tough thing to teach. That's one thing I will say. Some of his other, you can get your arm stronger. Tom Brady was ripped for having a weak arm, even in his first couple of years as a starter. He had a very strong arm as it went on. Strength conditioning. Pocket presence is a little different. But if he makes himself into an NFL quarterback, he'll make that money and more. And again, I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me, Danny, but I do think a message was being sent. Not just Sanders is the poster boy. This wasn't about Sanders in my mind. It was a message to all of these entitled kids that are going to come out of college now that we have all these millions of dollars in NIL money, and I'm hot shit. Excuse my French, which I know isn't French. I know I shouldn't be swearing on Roku. Sorry. I'm hot poop. And there's a message that needs to be sent. There's going to be many more Sanders that come out. And I think there was a message being sent. Yeah. Maybe we don't agree on what the message was. I'm not clear from this comment, Danny. Curious what you think about your Rams. Actually, let me go back real quick since I got Danny, and that'll get his. Put your take up, Danny. I'll give you my take right now on the Rams because, to be honest, it's one I haven't looked at a lot. I don't know why, since I have to make sure I chat with you about it. Come on. Where's my... where are you? Are they still in Los Angeles? Where'd they move? Not a lot of picks for them, only 6 picks. I got to get into Rick's picks too. I don't know if they got more than the 4 they had or not. I think their pick of the tight end out of Oregon was a really good pick. I like him a lot. Joshua Stewart, the edge player out of Michigan in the 3rd round. They didn't have a first round pick, by the way. They traded out of there. I think that's a pick that the Falcons traded for, right, to get Pierce. you trade next year's first round draft pick to get back into the first round plus other picks. That's not smart. I think Hunter, the running back, could contribute, although I like Williams already there. Chris Paul Jr. at linebacker, I think, is underrated. Nice pick at 172. Not a bad draft for only having 6 picks. I like Ferguson a lot. I think he'll help. I think they'll help Ferguson. I'm a little surprised they didn't draft a quarterback late, a project. With Stafford, look at, I think what he signed 2 years. I mean, he's getting up there. You don't even know if he's going to play year to year now. So all in all, not a bad pick. And the Vikings are right below here. So so they picked up a pick somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if I can get excited about this pick. I like the guard out of Ohio State, obviously. Great job with the offensive line pick there. Felton with the wide receiver core you have already. I don't know what kind of impact he's going to make, if any. Ingram Dawkins is on the edge. Probably will be a contributor. Just not, and I'm not sure about your 2 6-round guys. We never know, right? I know more about the guys that I'm high on from my team. And Patriots made some interesting. Long snapper, when you got a very good one already. Packers pick of a wide receiver in round 1 was interesting. Supposedly, Rodgers was crying for one forever. His receivers were pretty good. I don't know what he was bitching about. But they did pick Golden in round 1 this year, since everyone says they have a talented group already. Well, let's look at their group real quick, shall we? There's some kids I like on this team. I don't know if I think it's the most talented group of wide receivers in the league. Golden moves right into the probably the number 1 receiver slot. Jaden Reed, I think, has been okay. Watson's been a bit of a disappointment, hurt quite a bit. Again, I think this is a good but not great wide receiver group. But Golden certainly raises the bar for them a lot, I think. Very talented, very fast. Where did Isaiah Bond go? I didn't see where he went. He's another guy that probably was going to go maybe in the 3rd round. They added another in round 3. Let's look at the Packers draft. There's just some teams I lost track of. There was just so much going on, man. Packers draft. Golden. Belton. Savion Williams, I like a lot, by the way. I think Savion Williams has got a chance to be in those top 3 receivers. I mean, he may beat out Dobbs. However you say his name. When you have a quarterback as talented as Love, you've got to give him weapons. I mean, I don't know that this group was that highly rated, but I mean, it's not a bad group. You just added 2 really good pieces to this group. They could use a tight end. Chris. Mr. Irreverent. You're not Mr. Irrelevant. You were Mr. Irreverent. Thank you. Always done what I asked him to do. The Montreal reporter once asked Andres Galarraga, the big cat, dancing in a bar when he was once saw Andres Galarraga dancing in a bar when he was on the injured list. Andres came over to the table and told me he would kill him if he ran the story. The story would get run today for sure. The guy wouldn't care if he got killed or not. Texans had 2 wide receivers. Smart, by the way. They lost Diggs. Nico Collins was hurt a lot last year. their third receiver, what's his name? Tony what? Coming back from a horrific injury in the playoffs. Who am I thinking of? Delk? No, it's not Delk. What's his name? Oh, it's close. Tank Dell. How do you forget Tank Dell? I think it's probably a smart move because Christian Kirk is not a young guy. I like the guys. And John Michie, who should have been a star, has not really stepped up. He's had injuries as well. This could be this group stays healthy. This might be one of the best talented groups of wide receivers in the league. I like Higgins and Noel. I saw online video of Sanders talking about his Browns pick. A muck spreader had dubbed over it. Oh, I see. Showing Sanders saying, "I want out. I'm not playing for the Browns." He'll be victimized. Will you be a victimized player in the NFL? There's going to be a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders from now until opening day and maybe beyond. I think there's a 50-50 chance at least that he wins a starting job there. The competition isn't that good. You got Joe Flacco, who graduated a year behind me in high school. You got Kenny Pickett, who stinks and will probably be released or on a practice squad and go somewhere else. Now you got Gabriel, who I don't think is that good, and they'll find that out. And you got Shedeur. And as far as the dubbing goes, everybody, because I see they're very good at deep fakes. Deep fakes, AI has become an amazing thing, and it's going to be a scary thing because you are not going to know what's real and what's not. As you scroll through social media, be very careful what you're looking at and be very careful you understand that it's real. Because some of it is so good. The stuff I share is just, I know it's done. It's deep fake, and I know that, and it's funny. But I have seen stuff shared where people think stuff is real. And guys, you just have to be smart. Understand the world we live in today. And somebody can take me and I put enough stupid words in my own mouth. So you don't have to do it to me. I got to do something about this desk. Shaking too much. We're having an earthquake here. Victimized, I don't think is the right word, though. Will he have a hard time because there's haters everywhere? Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with, listen, my only problem with Shedeur Sanders coming out of school, first of all, he shouldn't have had his number retired. That's just ridiculous. He went 13-12. He had one decent year there. Travis Hunter, yeah, he won the Heisman Trophy. You got guys from the national championship. Darius, what the hell's his name? Darius, help me. I'll find him. Because I just talked to somebody in text yesterday. Knoxville, Nate had it yesterday. He knows him. Oh, Darian Hagan. Championship, a national championship team. One of the first guys to run and throw for 1,000 yards in the Big 10 or what was it then? Big 12, I guess. No, I guess it was still a Big 8, maybe. His number's not retired. So anyway, my issues are more with that. I don't have any issues. I hope Shedeur Sanders goes and becomes a very good quarterback in the NFL. Why should I root against him? He's cocky. He's got confidence. I don't have to like it. I don't root against. There's very few guys I root against. The guys I root against are guys like the massage molester. There is nothing to indicate that we should hate Shedeur Sanders other than he's cocky and has great confidence in his own ability. And you don't like his dad. At least be transparent about it. And at least you guys put your name to it. NFL executives don't even do that. So I don't know if victimize is the right word, Michael, but it'll be an interesting go. I was excited about Hensley Mullins as a prospect. Made a very good. I don't know if he's still a hitting coach, but Hensley Mullins was a hitting coach in Major League Baseball for quite some time. I don't know that he is right now, but he was a big prospect for the Yankees at the time, and just never made it like we thought he might. Colts seem to be getting very high grades for their entire draft. I do like that. We were talking about it earlier with God. I forgot who I was talking to. Oh, Ron Panada, who's a Colts fan. I think the Colts did a really good job. I mean, they did a great job getting Warren, which is going to help whatever the quarterback is. They did take a quarterback in Riley Leonard late, a project. Whether he hits or misses, it's irrelevant when you're picking at 189. If he doesn't make it, it doesn't hurt them. But if he hits it big, they couldn't take a quarterback early because you've already got a big issue in camp with Richardson and Jones. I think Jones wins that job, and quite frankly, Jones might have a rebirth in Indianapolis. We'll see. But I liked what they did with Warren. I like the edge player. I can't say his name. Tumalua from Ohio State. Justin Wiley's a very good cornerback, again, out of the Big Ten at Minnesota. Giddens, a running back from Kansas City, could be a sleeper at that fifth round spot. I think the Colts did well. See, there weren't a lot of losers in this draft for me. I don't think the Falcons did very well. I don't think the Dolphins did very well. I don't think the Lions did very well. Sorry, Bistrella. I don't mean to knock you. And I don't think the Steelers did very well. I think the Steelers had a chance to get Hampton at let me look at the Steelers draft real quick. I mean, the Steelers had a chance to get Hampton in that first round and passed over him for a defensive player. And maybe that's fine. Maybe they have a plan. Here's my problem with Pittsburgh over the last 4 or 5 years. At least since Roethlisberger's been gone, and maybe for a few years before that. They don't have an identity. They don't know who they are. The Pittsburgh Steelers always knew who they were. They played a lot of smash mouth football. They could throw the football, but they were a tough team. And I think they've lost that. I don't know if I like what this team did. The Derek Harmon pick, nice pick, sad story. I think he'll be a good defensive tackle. Defensive tackles were big winners in this, and edge rushers were big winners in this draft as well. I'd like Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, but again, they waited too long. They traded or let Najee Harris walk away. They don't have a quarterback. They did take Will Howard, which I think, by the way, Will Howard, of the guys who were taken like 6th round, which maybe he's the only one. Gotta look. Kellen McCord. No, Kellen McCord, 6th round. I mean, when you look at that group of McCord, Howard, Leonard, Mertz, I think Will Howard is in a good spot. I think Will Howard has NFL quarterback tools. He's a project. I think it's a good spot. But they haven't picked up a quarterback yet. Everybody's convinced now it's Aaron Rodgers. They didn't take Shedeur Sanders because of Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter who they took in the draft. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, he's the quarterback for a year or two. That's it. So Howard better be an answer at some point, whether it's Howard, whether it's Cousins, whether it's one of the guys from Cleveland. Am I falling way behind here? What time is it? 923. That's not awful. Well, that's 20. Yeah. Let me pick it up a little bit. Wow, Chris, you are like all over the place today, man. You are absolutely 100% streaming your consciousness today. Great job. I know Kurt Browning, I do remember. I have not seen him here in the States in any insurance commercials. Let anybody else speak to that. Well, Kurt Browning, I'm going to say 80s. How far off am I? 90s? Maybe 90s. Kurt Browning in the 90s. Tell me how close I am, Chris. I thought you were a Cowboy fan. Thanks to Staubach. When they last won I wasn't even born when they last won a Super Bowl. I'm kidding. No, what are we at? 30 years and counting this year? This year will be 30 years and counting, I believe. That's not good, Neil. I don't mind their draft, though. Don't get excited about Joe Milton, by the way, Neil. I don't know if we've had this conversation or not. I had this conversation with Mac McGrath. And Mac, we hope you're doing better. Hope you're healing up and resting up. And we hope to see you back behind the microphone soon on National Streaming Sports. He wanted Joe Milton for the Giants to be the starter. Nobody's ever seen Joe Milton play against NFL caliber players yet. He played the last game against Buffalo last year, beat them and cost them, Travis Hunter. That's all. I'm not for tanking games, so I don't have a problem with that, by the way. But he played against a bunch of second and third stringers. He performed well in exhibition games, and he'd come in the third and fourth quarter when none of the starters were in there. Joe Milton's got some great physical tools. I do not expect Joe Milton ever to be an NFL starter. He got traded, and there were guys, and again, I'm not saying you're one of these guys, Neil, but I would see some guys in some of the Cowboy groups going, great, we got to trade Dak. Joe Milton's not that guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Joe Milton's not that guy. And by the way, they had to get rid of him. They got rid of him partly because he has an overinflated opinion of himself and feels there should be a real quarterback competition this summer in New England, and made it clear that if there wasn't, he wouldn't be happy. And Mike Vrabel smelled a problem that it wasn't a mile away and got rid of that problem before it became a problem. I think it's a great move. It did cost him next year's number one pick. But Travis Hunter's the type of player that's worth that. Because, by the way, you didn't get just one player. You really got two players. Because I do think he can. Yes. There's a couple things here. Is he worth it? Yes. He's a generational player. Patriots desperately were trying to move up. As much as they needed offensive linemen, they wanted Will Campbell. They wanted to get up to have a chance to get Hunter, but they couldn't afford to trade the picks that it would take to get him. They needed too many other things. He's a generational player. He's going to help them at two positions, wide receiver and cornerback, to talk to your second point here. He will. He's going to be a cornerback. He's going to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league quickly. But he's going to play offense. He's not going to play, 130 snaps a game like he did in college. Nobody's going to be able to do that in the NFL. I had a conversation Friday with Jack Hirsch, who said, he's a young guy, young, strong. Well, he won't be young and strong if he's playing 130 snaps a game in the NFL for long. But there'll be packages that are put in just for Travis Hunter. You will see Travis Hunter play on offense. It might be 50% of the time. So he's going to help Trevor Lawrence immensely. Trevor Lawrence has struggled except for one season. I was shocked when John Gonzalez told me, look at his numbers compared to Daniel Jones, and they're about the same. So I'm okay with the number 1 pick next year because I'm getting two guys, basically, or at least 1.5. And the half that I get is going to be as good as most of the guys who play full-time at that position. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's flipped. Maybe they start him at wide receiver and spot him in the backfield and nickel back him or something. I don't know. My guess is cornerback, and then he'll play some offense. He's not going. There's no, and this is an offensive guy, Liam, whatever his name is the coach there now. That's a great look, right? Poking myself right in the face. I don't know. I think the Jags did well. I think the Jags are a winner in this draft. Raiders supposedly had one of the best drafts. I do think the Raiders had a good draft. Let's review what they did. Giante, by the way, again, the only guy that was going to get picked early and paid that kind of money was Giante. See what else they did here that I liked. Jack Beck. Rick talked about earlier. Jack Beck's story is again another. Rick had said check it out. And as I've been sitting here thinking about it, I saw a lot of the story. If you don't know the story, his brother was killed in that tragic mowing down of pedestrians in New Orleans before the Sugar Bowl last year. Really good player at TCU. Playing the pass-heavy offense. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a good weapon. Two good weapons at the top of this draft for Geno Smith, who I think helps it. I'm not a big Geno Smith fan, so that's not really relevant to this draft other than, there was talk they might take Shador. And I thought as he fell, I thought they might take him as the best player available anytime from, 4 on. But they helped their offensive line. They got a couple of offensive tackles in the 3rd round. I think they did a great job because they had 8 picks in the first 4 rounds. You can afford a miss or two, but I like the 2 offensive tackles. I don't know that much about Charles Grant, but the other one I've read, I've heard really good things. He's out of William and Mary, so you don't hear a lot about him. But the kid from Texas Tech, Rogers, is very good. Darian Porter, the cornerback out of Iowa State, is good. This team, the West, listen, Kansas City is going to come back to the pack a little bit. That Western division is going to be very, very difficult. I think San Diego overperformed a little bit, but I think the Chargers overperformed a little bit, but I think they did a great job this year getting Hampton now to go with Harris in that backfield. I think Harbaugh is going to be running the type of offense that he wants to run out there. It's going to help Herbert a lot in my mind. It did something else I liked, and what was it? Trey Harris at Ole Miss, another nice wide receiver. They need some talent too on that wide receiver spot to help Herbert for sure. They got some defensive guys. They're getting a little long in the tooth on defense. At least they're stars. They got a good interior lineman. They got a good edge rusher. Kyle Kennard, and I think Neil, if you're still here, you can speak to the fact that I think he's an underrated defensive player. They get him in the 4th round. South Carolina, by the way, with 5 guys in this draft. Not a usual thing. Of course, when you have many holes, it's easy to improve dramatically. And in theory, I told you how much I love the Patriots draft. I'm not saying the Patriots are going to win 9 or 10 games and make the playoffs this year. It's conceivable. I've got to see some stuff in the summer and see how these guys are progressing and picking up McDaniels and Vrabel's plays. how they fit. Same with the Raiders. See, I'm not with everybody else. I'm not terribly sold on Geno, but I think adding Trey Harris to this offense, along with I'm sorry, I got the wrong guy. I'm on the wrong team now. Bear with me. I got to get back. I got to get back to the Raiders. I probably could have just gone backwards, right? I'm not sure if it's taking me to a new page when I do this or. Now I lost him. Whatever. I think this team is going to be much better. I'm not sold on Geno. Brock Bauer, though, great offensive player. They got Giante now. I like what they've done. If the quarterback plays well, this team will. The West is going to be tough. Raiders will be significantly better. The Chiefs are probably going to come back to the pack a little bit. Don't think they address their offensive line enough yet. The Chargers are going to be there. The Broncos, we saw what they did last year, and they got better yesterday. Chargers drafted Omari and Hampton in the first round to complement Najee. I guess Vidal is not the answer. Not when you got a guy as good as Omari and Hampton. I know Harbaugh didn't like his running game last year. You run the ball, you take the pressure off a guy like Herbert. Herbert is a really good quarterback who doesn't get his due and will soon. They gave him some weapons, as I said. I like Najee Harris. I like the wide receiver that they picked up as well. I like Omari and Hampton. I think they did some really good things. It's going to be a tough division. That's right. Why do I keep forgetting you're a Redskins fan? All right, we haven't looked at the Redskins yet. Those who don't know where to find the Redskins, look for the team that's playing in Washington. Those are the Washington Redskins. I think I'd like to. They didn't have a lot of picks. Connerly, nice pick. Again, another offensive tackle gone in the first round. Trey Amos, a really good cornerback out of Ole Miss. Great job there. The kid from Virginia Tech, I'm not 100% sold on. I like the linebacker pick, Medrano out of UCLA. And in the seventh round, I mean, you got a guy in the seventh round at 245, Krosky Merritt out of Arizona, who I think will make the team, and I think will contribute. And you get a guy who makes the team in the seventh round, you did a great job, much less contribute. They, along with the Pats, drafted needs, not names, in my couch potato opinion. I agree. Again, Lane may be okay. I probably don't know enough about Lane, but these other guys I've seen enough of and read enough about. I think you've got 4 or 5 with very small, again, 5 picks. I think this is. I think those 4 or 5 of them I think are really strong picks, including your 7th round pick. Great job. And thank you for the compliment on the Patriots. I think the Patriots did a very smart thing. They checked every box they had an issue on. Doesn't mean they're going to hit on every one. When I say any of these comments, right, we don't know until they get to training camp and beyond what kind of players we've had. I've loved a lot of drafts over the years, and they turn out to be stinkers, especially the last few. Vikings made major improvements in free agency, picked for need. Fair. Who did they sign to be their backup quarterback, Rick? Damn. Didn't they just let me find their let's find their draft. They just signed somebody, and if they've updated this, I think they have, because they got draft picks in here already. Why is it escaping me? I thought they made a nice move. Sam Howell yesterday. Listen, Sam Howell's not tremendous. I think Sam Howell will be a guy who's going to be a backup in this league for the next 10 years. You don't want Sam Howell playing 17 games, but he's better than Brett Ripien. Sorry, Mark. I'm hoping to get Mark on the one-on-one show. And certainly better than Brosmer. So I think that was a nice trade for the Vikings yesterday. Which, again, you can look at as part of their draft, I guess. I like that pick up. Danny's on with me on message sent. If you're not considered a major impact quarterback, you will fall like a rock in the pond. I agree. And the only way you can have an argument with me about this, I think, is if you actually think, which James does. James, if you're still here, and I do appreciate James' opinion a lot. James pretty good. James knows his stuff. He thinks Shedeur Sanders is first-round material. I don't know whether he thinks he's top 10 material. But again, here's the thing. As far as Shedeur Sanders fell, it was also a product of guys not taking quarterbacks. He was the sixth quarterback taken. The only way Dylan Gabriel should get ahead of him, by the way. I'm fine with him being the fourth quarterback taken in the third round. If he'd gone where Gabriel went. That's one of the bigger shockers in the whole draft to me. It's almost as big as Shedeur Sanders falling to the fifth round is Dylan Gabriel going in the third round before Sanders and McCord and Howard and Ewers. Chris sent me a very funny message the other day. He sends me these voice recordings on Messenger. I made a comment the other day about his different voices, and he sent me one that I don't know. I had about what you have about different. It must have been 4 or 5 different voices, inflections, and whatever you want to call them. And I didn't respond right away. I thought I had with a laugh, and I didn't hit it. And he thought he scared the hell out of me with his message. Chris does great with some voices. He's really cool. You should be doing voiceover work somewhere, Chris. Get yourself to Hollywood, or what's Hollywood in Canada? Out in Vancouver, right? Isn't that the Hollywood of Canada? Get yourself out there, and you should be a voice actor. Seriously. Anyway, I lost CBS Radio. I think if you talk this much football, you're supposed to shout the whole time. I get mad at the guys who shout all day long doing games. I get excitable. At least I shout when the time is right in my mind, but apologize if I'm hurting anybody's ears. I'm an excitable guy. Danny Fuller agrees. I don't think the Vikings did badly. I mean, I had said in the first round, I thought they would trade back and get more picks, which again, they could have drafted more need. So I still think there was something to be said for that. But again, all in all, I think a good draft for the Vikings. Look, their season comes down to whether J.J. McCarthy's ready to play, right? Simple. And I think he's playing in a great system with a great quarterback, a great coach for any quarterback, and he's got weapons galore. I might have got a running back. They didn't pick a running back, right? I might have grabbed a running back if I was the Vikings. What's their depth chart look like? I feel like, and I got to see, I might be missing somebody there. I feel like I would have got a running back. Well, they do have Jordan Mason there behind Aaron Jones now. Ty Chandler. I might have taken a run at one of those running backs, 4th round, 5th round. But again, that's nitpicking, I think. I guess the Derek Carr injury might be a bigger concern than originally thought. with the thoughts of the Saints' pick of Slock, even though with Rattler in their bullpen. Rattler stinks, number one. So does Carr, by the way. Carr's another guy who's going to give you numbers and nothing else. You're not going to win playoff games with Derek Carr. Whether he was injured or not, I think they would have been picking a quarterback here, as they did, trading up to get Slock. It doesn't make sense to call it Slock. But I like the kid. I mean, again, if he stays healthy, his biggest issue, he's 26 years old, which is good because you've got experience, but he's also been hurt a lot. Had a really good year at Louisville last year. He's going to be a better player than Spencer Rattler. If Carr is healthy, they don't need him to start right away necessarily, but I would not be shocked to see Derek Carr, whether it's for injury or other reasons, not play. I've never been a Derek Carr fan. I'm never going to be. He's a guy who has had some pretty good years, and somebody could put numbers in front of me and say, hey, look. But then I see him playing playoff games that he should win, and he hasn't been in many, by the way, maybe only one. But he at the biggest moment of the game, he comes up small. And I always say this, in big moments, guys remember who they are. First time I ever said that was about Neil O'Donnell. When he was playing really well, got the Steelers to the Super Bowl, and I kept saying to my Steeler fans, I'm telling you, at some point, Neil O'Donnell will remember he's Neil O'Donnell. And he did. Saw it with Sam Darnold last year. Rick can probably attest to that. You saw a great player for 16 games, for the most part. Biggest game of the year, he remembered who he was. So I like Slock. I think the Saints had a good draft yesterday. I told James that a few times last night. How are we doing? Time is flying here. Giants stocking up. I guess we're only going to share the football groups today, probably. Greg, I won't share this show because there's too much football content for your America's Pastime, I think. Giants stocking up on edge rushers with Carter pick added to Burns and Thibodeau. Those two players are going to become much better with Carter there. I do think I like Jackson Dart, but he's a project. So for the future, yes, I think given the Giants situation, Joe Shine and Jesus, why can't I stop shaking? Can't I put this? Can I move my computer so it shakes more? That's better. I think I had my computer not anchored right. That's why I've been shaking so much. Sorry about that, guys. Because look, now if I do this, I shake a little, but not like I'm in the middle of Charlton Heston's movie Earthquake. They were in a very tough position because they need to win more games this year. We don't know how many because John Mara just said we have to do better, or people are going to get fired basically. So they were in a tough position, having to draft to be successful this year, but also be the right thing by the team. They had to find a quarterback. The two quarterbacks they signed will be okay. I don't think you're going to see Jackson Dart this year. That's not your question. I think Jackson Dart, with the right type of coaching, will be very good in the future. He's a good sized kid. He's got very good mobility. He's got a good arm. He can make all the throws. He played in a very simplified offense at Mississippi, which will hold him back in the beginning. But if they don't throw this kid to the wolves, when Wilson and Jameis interception struggle, this team will win more games just because of its defense. Carter makes this defense so much better. Thibodeau's going to have a great year this year. Burns is already a great player. So's Thibodeau. These three, when you can get into the backfield and disrupt what other teams are doing. Again, Danny, I'm not saying this team's making the playoffs. Don't get me going. I'm not a Giant lover, but I try to be honest. Their defense will be very good. I'm not sure what their offense is going to bring. Interesting pick with Scatabo. But Wilson and Jameis interception are going to have a little trouble, I think, moving this offense consistently. So they're going to have to win very low-scoring games and hope their quarterbacks don't lose the game for them, which means Wilson needs to play and Wilson needs to stay within himself, and there's a better chance at him doing that than Winston. And Jackson Dart, I think, will be, again, there's no sure things, right? But I think he has a chance to be a decent player in this league. Eagles spent the first 5 picks on defensive players and pivoted to the offensive line with a quarterback thrown in. The Eagles do a great job. Listen, Howie Rosenberg, is that his name? He does a great job. Picking at the back of the draft every year, they find value everywhere. Campbell this year was a great pick at 30 or whatever it was. He's only not a top 10 pick because he had a shoulder injury last year. They picked guys like that in the past, and they've turned out to be stars. They keep shuffling new and better, younger players into this defensive scheme, which is really good. I mean, their offense is good. They won the Super Bowl because they just they blew up Kansas City on every play almost. Now they're going to be better. I like what the Eagles did. I like what the Eagles do all the time. They're close enough. Darian Hagan, I think you're probably as close as I am. Darian Hagan and Eric Bieniemy on that championship squad in, what was it, 89, 90? 91, somewhere around there. McCarthy. Get a great documentary we saw about that team and him, by the way, Bill McCarthy. They should all have their numbers retired if frickin' Shador does. And don't throw Travis Hunter into the same group. He won a Heisman Trophy. It's okay. Maybe you wait a year or two, but whatever. How are we doing here? I got a lot of comments to get to, so I got to start flying. Rajai Davis once stated that if he didn't put Sure a career of baseball, he would have been a priest. I wonder what he's up to today. I'm guessing he's not a priest. I'm over the moon presently, Keith. My soccer team, Leeds United, just promoted to the big time top league, English Premier Division. Well, congratulations. Is Ted Lasso coaching that team? Sounds like a Ted Lasso season. Ted Lasso, by the way, and I'll give Drew credit for turning me on to Ted Lasso, has been greenlighted for is it 5th season or 4th season? I can't remember how many there were, but there will be another season of Ted Lasso, and congratulations to your Leeds United, Michael. Niners tried to shore up their defense. I think they did a great job, by the way, with that defense. That's why I said Robert Saleh, the new and returning defensive coordinator out there, is a big winner in this draft. He's got a lot of talent coming. You still win with defense. Kansas City, when they won back-to-back, you think their offense was good, right? They won because of their defense. I can tell you right now. Their defense was underrated every time they've won a Super Bowl. Michael says we have a great investment group at the helm. Will Ferrell's part of it. I'm a big fan now then. I don't know Maurice Parag, Rudy Klein, Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Larry Nance Jr., the Red Bull organization. You got a great investment group there. Great things coming for your team. Keep us surprised, Michael. Not a big soccer fan, but I like, I've turned to Premier League. I'm a soccer, again, you'll judge me for this. I'm sorry, but I'm a big soccer fan every 4 years when the World Cup is played. But I like to see this, and I became I know more about soccer from watching Ted Lasso, if that makes any sense at all. Kurt Browning Home Equity Bank. That's a tidbit. That is a boom for Chris Fgrave. He's been hot today. Let me tell you. Seahawks draft was all over the place without an emphasis in any one area. Didn't replace Metcalf. I'm going to tell you that I think, and I said this at the top, so this isn't, again, just a reaction to your comment here, Drew. This is, I think and now I can't find my, damn it. Hold on, we'll go here. I think Seattle had a great draft. I'm going to tell you that Arroyo is going to be one of the underrated players in this draft at tight end. They got him in the second round out of Miami. I can't spend a lot of time on this, can I? Not really. Don't want to go over. They did a great job with Zabel. Very underrated guard out of North Dakota State. Again, another South Carolina guy I like at safety. I really like Elijah Arroyo, the tight end out of Miami. I was really hoping the Patriots might find a way to do it. They didn't really have, a need there. But he would have been great teamed with Hunter Henry. I like what they did with Milroe because of Milroe's going to be a player in this league at some point, but not now. And by the way, he might contribute now running some specific packages for him. Don't be shocked when you see him play. So again, I think Seattle did a better job than you think here myself. I also like, again, another 7th round pick to take a look at making an impact. Damian Martinez. Again, you'll say, well, you're just biased towards Miami guys. I see them play. Damian Martinez can play in the NFL. Bucks had only 6 picks total, but used early ones to add a wide receiver to their aging core and to buff up their cornerback slot. I thought, other than the Falcons, I thought the NFC South did a great job. Carolina, I thought, had a really good draft. The Saints, I told you, I think had a really good draft. I liked what the Bucks did, again, with less picks. I don't like what the Falcons did myself. Federet's still 4th best in the division. Danny, I won't say that's not true, but the division is going to be one of the best divisions in football. I mean, as I think, and I could be wrong, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, the AFC West and the NFC North are going to be maybe the best 2 divisions in football. Titans mixed position draft with a lot of holes have been considered by several analysts to be among the best drafts, if not the best. The things with ranking them, and again, just like I'm doing here today, everybody's going to rank them based on their on their own agendas. But I do think the Titans did a very good job. I think a winner here will be Will Levis. Will Levis will get moved out of Carolina at some point, get a second chance, and I think Will Levis still has a chance to be a productive NFL quarterback. If you remember 3 years ago, I said he was the best quarterback in that draft. It hasn't worked out, but I think part of that is the team he's playing on as well. Undrafted free agents, Respecco, which I'm saying it wrong, top wide receiver out of Miami, also signed to rejoin Cam Ward in Tennessee. Didn't run up quick 40. In fact, it was really bad. But this kid can run routes and catch balls. He reminds me of Julian Edelman a lot. He reminds me of Braxton Berrios, who didn't necessarily make it. He did have a good year with the Jets one year. But Wes Welker, think about those types of guys. That's the guy you're getting with Respecco. I think he'll make this team. Commanders had only 5 picks, but it worked with what they had, particularly with later picks. We touched on them already. In the late 80s, Jim Kelly was on as many cereal boxes as Hulk Hogan and Mr. T in Toronto. Or was it maybe it was Flutie Flakes, I guess, was sold to raise money for some childhood. I think, I say childhood disease, but I think both their kids had serious health issues, and they both had to. I think they both raised money for good causes. I got to move quicker here. Traded for Howard. Traded for no, not Howard. Howell. Sam Howell. There you go. That's like a draft day signing. James is with Kuiper. Opinions are like, yeah. Yeah, we all have one, right? AC joins us late. How are you, my friend? AC says, good morning. I feel like the Pats had a great draft and should make the playoffs. I'm not going to go so far as the playoffs just yet. I do think they had a really good draft. I think they filled the holes they needed to fill. Now we'll see how good they did with the players that they filled them with. I like what I see on paper. I got to see it in play, right? It's easy to sit here and say this team had a good draft, this team had a bad draft. Until you see these guys in pads, it don't matter. But I playoffs, I'm not going to predict just yet. Danny backing me up. Scott Kobe, how are you? I think the Patriots killed it too. I'm trying not to get too many ires, Scott. We'll talk more about it as we go forward. Sorry you're joining us so late today. I only got like 2 minutes. Unfortunately, Kirk came up small in prime time games. Always. But when you need a quarterback, if I had a choice between Cousins and Rodgers, if I'm the Steelers, it's going to be Cousins all day long. Drew Ellen brought a lot of takes today. Drew Ellen. Drew. Maybe it's Ellen. I don't even know. How do I really know it's Drew? Looks like you're on that cruise. I say this to a lot of older players in clutch positions. You can lose skill, but you can never lose experience. Great point. Speaking of, Martinez is still a free agent. Yes, he is. Say goodbye to Ramondre will be there. Yeah, he does fumble too much. And I think Vrabel will be like Belichick in that regard. So Henderson's nice pick. Great weapon. Your thoughts on the Seahawks draft? I like it, Michael. I think I've spoken on it a couple times, so hopefully you heard that. I like it a lot. I like what they did at the top. I think they got a steal and Arroyo at tight end, and he will be very helpful with their quarterbacks. Dart's the closest thing to Josh Allen. Okay, again, we need to see a little more of that. The Buffalo fans booed when Josh Allen got drafted. Remember, Howie Roseman, thank you, executives of the century. I don't disagree. The guy finds ways to get really good players late in the first round every year. JD, I didn't say he retired. I just said he was not playing, which is he may have to retire. Mets leading with 7. Did they win again? Or they won 8 in a row now? Thanks. Couldn't get Victor Martinez out of my head. I'm trying to get through them all, guys. We may have to make a quick getaway at the end. Let me start some music up a little bit. Sorry. I got to play a little music on the way out. Drew. Low anyway. All right, let me get through this. Good morning. Braves finally make a move. 7-3 in the last 10. I told you don't worry about the Braves. Overall, who do you think is the big winner in the draft? Biggest loser? Biggest loser is the Steelers. Biggest winner, Giants. How about that? AFC's sorry, going to be no name on that. I might get out of here on time. AFC East will be strong again because the Cowgirl fans think bits of time and your Giants sports bets have potential. Now my Giants. Who's involved in Autism Foundation? Thank you, Scott. Too many good teams in AFC. Pats probably just miss out. I don't disagree. Have a great week, guys. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks. Sunday Streamer Consciousness. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. The rest of your weekend. Enjoy. You guys have been fabulous today. Let's bring it home. Keith Engle. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.